Welcome back to another episode of Adoptions from the Heart TV. I'm your host, Amanda Aliberti. We're going to be continuing the discussion about race today, and we're going to be sitting down with our Black birth parents. Oftentimes within the world of adoption, we find that within the Black community, there's still a lot of conversation of adoption being taboo. It's really difficult for Black birth parents to place because oftentimes they feel a lot of pressure from their community. So now let's turn to some of our clients to find out what their experience has been. Samai, Asia, and Sierra, how your families or the people in your community, friends, family, took the idea of you placing your child for adoption, because I know sometimes there is this question as to whether or not adoption is quote unquote still considered taboo within the Black community, and also the differences between private adoption versus foster care. And, I don't know, sometimes that comes into play, but how your families and friends took to the idea of you placing your child and whether or not you feel like today they're supportive of you.
I placed my son in 2016, so we're coming up on 4 years now. My family did not support the idea at first. Amanda can tell you, like the first 14 days after I signed the paperwork, my mom was like, "Go get him back. You can take care of him. Go get him back. You didn't to give him away." And I'm like, no. I had to tell my mom that the time limit was up way before, just so she would stop, because to her it was like, I made the wrong decision. So as far as it still being taboo, from what I'm hearing, just being out and speaking about my experience in itself, I really feel like it still is even now, because it might be significantly less than it was before, but it's definitely still like why would you do that type of conversation. And particularly my family, none of my family was really supportive. One of my sisters worked in the hospital when I was having my son, and when she found out, she kind of talked to me, because I did tell her what was going on when I was pregnant. And then when she found out that the family was here, like, she came to meet them and everything. And then when everything was over, she trash talked me so much. I haven't talked to my sister since I think the February after I had my son. I had my son in December, so I stopped talking to her February 2016. I haven't talked to her since. Just because she made me feel so bad about my decision. I couldn't at that time fathom having this person attacking me all the time, and I was still going through my grieving process. So, like, even so now, she's still not supportive, which, okay, now I'm at the point where, okay, I understand that's your own choice because that's your own personal belief. So I respect my decision. That's where I am now, because before my was not supportive at all. But my mom in particular, when she saw my son with his family, she felt better. And I think that's what it is. I think it's because they're not seeing the family together, that it's more heartbreaking, especially for the older generation, because they're all about family being together and family needs to stay together. And a lot of people in the Black community think if you put a child up for adoption, you're never going to see him again. And that's not the case. A lot of people don't know about open adoption. It's literally just a lot of ignorance. Some people just don't know. And it's kind of up to us, being the ones that are going through it or have been through it, to kind of educate people. Because again, me actually sitting down, talking with my family and saying, I get pictures. I see my son at least once a year. I talk to his family. They talk to me. They ask me about my daughter, who's still here with me. They ask about you guys, even though right now you guys don't feel very warm towards them. They still ask about you guys because they want this family to stay together. And I think that that's not known. Because even me, when I went through the process of trying to figure out what I was going to do when I was pregnant, I thought adoption was, I'm going to have this baby, I'm going to give this to this nice family, and I'm going to disappear to my child. And I had to talk to Amanda, I had to go to the agency, and I had to learn what I would have been doing. And then I'm like, oh, that's not it at all. And that made me feel better. But it's a lot of learning that needs to be done, just because, yes, it is still taboo right now because a lot of people still don't know the process. They still don't know what happens once we as birth parents sign those papers. They really just think, okay, you just gave your baby away. You're never going to see your kid again. And then when they turn 18, they're going to hate you. That's literally what everybody said to me, like the first 4 months after I placed my son for adoption. And I had to like let them know after, and I got the strength to like say anything. I'm still going to see my son. My son's going to know me. My son's going to know his sister. He's going to know everybody, whether y'all want him to know who y'all are or not, because y'all are my family, which means y'all are also his family. And his adoptive family was more than open to that. They want him to know his family. And I think, again, that's where the taboo comes into play, is because to a lot of the older generation, we're breaking apart a family. And that's very, very bad in the Black community, to break up a family. So that's just my comment.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think historically as social workers, when we are counseling our clients, the Black community does tend to say that exact same thing that you're saying, that no, we want to keep this child within our family, within our blood, and we will find a place for him or her to go. And I think the problem is just the lack of understanding of what the options can look like, particularly open adoption, still having a connection, still being able to get updates, seeing your child, are all pieces that you can participate in. But it's this struggle of them understanding that that is an option and happen. So I appreciate you saying that, Sierra. We need to take a slight break from this topic, but please tune in later in the week when we sit down with Samai and Asia to share their experience.